They say dolphins smile because they're happy, but what if that smile hides something deeper? A memory of pain, forgiveness, and a bond that defies every explanation. This is the story of Kai, a wild dolphin who seemed to understand the language of emotion better than words, and the woman he once saved years before she even knew his name. If you've ever wondered whether animals can truly sense who we are, what we feel, or even what we fear, stay until the end. Because what happened between Kai and a marine biologist named Sophie will challenge everything you believe about connection. Sophie grew up by the sea. As a child, she'd spend hours watching dolphins leap beyond the waves, dreaming that one day she'd study them. The ocean was her refuge, until one summer morning, when that same sea almost took her life. She was 16, surfing off the coast of New Zealand, when the weather suddenly turned. The wind howled, the waves twisted violently, and her board snapped in half. Pulled by a current she couldn't fight, she screamed for help, but no one was near enough to hear. The cold bit into her chest as she sank beneath the surface. In those moments between panic and surrender, she felt something firm push against her side. Then again. When she opened her eyes underwater, a shape moved beside her, sleek, grey, and alive. A dolphin. It circled her, nudging her upward, breaking the surface again and again, until a rescue boat finally spotted them both. The rescuers said they'd never seen anything like it. The dolphin had stayed until she was safe, then vanished into the waves. Sophie never forgot those eyes. Years passed. She studied marine biology, driven by one question: why did that dolphin save me? She traveled the world, tracking dolphin behavior, studying communication patterns, but deep down it was always personal. She was searching for him. A decade later, Sophie joined a dolphin rehabilitation center near the same coast where she'd almost drowned. One morning, as she was preparing a tank for a newly rescued dolphin tangled in fishing nets, she felt a strange chill of recognition. The dolphin's left fin bore an old scar, crescent-shaped near the base. Her heart stopped. It couldn't be. But when she leaned closer, he turned his head and looked at her. The same calm eyes, the same patient gaze that had stared into hers years ago through salt and fear. Sophie whispered, "Kai." The dolphin released a low whistle, soft, rising, the same sound she remembered from the day in the sea. She froze, then she laughed and cried at once. For weeks, Sophie worked with him, slowly rebuilding his strength. Kai responded differently from any other dolphin, as if he could read the emotions beneath her voice. When she was sad, his calls softened. When she laughed, he leaped higher. During therapy sessions, he'd wait for her signal before performing any movement, as though he understood not just the command, but the meaning behind it. One evening, after a long day, Sophie sat by the edge of the pool, lost in thought. She whispered, "Why did you help me?" Kai surfaced slowly, clicking softly, then rested his head near her hand. She could feel the gentle pulse of life beneath his skin, and in that silence she realized he didn't save her because of instinct. He saved her because he felt her fear. Months passed, and Kai fully recovered. It was time to release him back into the wild. On the morning of the release, the sky was clear and calm. Sophie stood knee-deep in the surf, hand resting on his side. She whispered, "Thank you." Kai chirped, circled once, and then, in a gesture that stunned everyone, he brushed his dorsal fin against her hand one last time before diving beneath the waves. The other researchers clapped and cheered, but Sophie just stood there, tears mixing with seawater, because she felt something deeper, not goodbye, but understanding. For the next 2 years she continued her work, but she couldn't shake the feeling that Kai was still out there, watching. Then, during a study trip near the same coastline, her boat was surrounded by a small pod of wild dolphins. One leaped higher than the rest, twisting mid-air before slapping the water near her side. The scar on its fin caught the sunlight. "Kai," she whispered. He swam closer, surfacing beside the boat, exhaling in a soft puff. Sophie leaned down, and for a moment, time folded back. It was as if all those years, the fear, the rescue, the healing, existed in a single heartbeat. She realized that connection isn't bound by species or logic. It's energy recognizing energy, heart recognizing heart. As the boat drifted away, Kai swam beside it for several minutes before disappearing again into the deep. Sophie smiled through tears. It wasn't sadness this time. It was gratitude for a friendship that had never needed words. Later, when Sophie published her findings on dolphin empathy, she ended the paper with a single line that her colleagues didn't understand, but anyone who has ever truly loved an animal would. Perhaps the ocean remembers the ones who listen. And maybe that's the truth. Maybe empathy doesn't belong to humans alone. Maybe it's something shared by all who feel, whether they walk, crawl, fly, or swim. Because sometimes the souls that save us aren't even human. If this story moved you, if it made you believe that animals feel far more than we think, then subscribe to When Animals Feel. Share this video so that more people can remember what kindness sounds like beneath the surface of silence. Because somewhere out there, a dolphin may still be swimming towards someone who needs to be saved.